With 2023 quickly coming to a close, I figured it was a perfect time to go through and pick out my favorite tools of the year. So I did just that. I went through and picked out my favorite new tools from 2023. Now, these don't specifically have to be brand new release tools for the year. This includes brand new tools to me and to my collection of tools that I've just worked with, used, and loved throughout the year and want to share with you guys. So, just kind of greatest hits of 2023 kind of thing. So we'll look at a big overview and then we'll talk a little bit about each one and try to make it quick because there's a lot to cover here. So first off, we've got the red line detection, dual purpose, leak detector, smoke detector. We saw this at SEMA. Right after I got home from SEMA, I called them up and ordered one. I was really impressed with their demonstration on it. So this is a dual unit where if you flip the switch this way, you can check for boost leaks in turbocharged applications. I think it's regulated to 25 psi, so you can check for leaking couplers around your throttle body, your intercooler, your turbocharger, etc. But if you want to go back and do evap testing, you flip the switch all the way over. That light will illuminate, and you'll have a very low pressure, I think 1 psi, evap testing capable side. So 2 machines in one, and it's pretty reasonably priced. Oh, I got a better deal on it than what MSRP is because it was a floor model from the show, but again, really great model so far. The little bit I've used it, we used it on that Forester evap leak. I will be using the turbo side of it when we get the STI back together, just to make sure that nothing was jostled in the collision as far as the mechanicals go once we get that front end pulled out. Next up, we've got the brand new Milwaukee High Torque Impact. We saw this at the Pipeline event this year. Honestly, I haven't used it too terribly much. I've got a little bit of wear on the anvil, but it's just the last high torque was so good that there's not many times that I really need to pull this thing out. I see myself using the M18 Compact, as you see in my videos, or the M12 Stubby the most. Rarely do I need to get out the high torque because the other guns are just so good, but when it counts, when you need something super strong to take off those stubborn fasteners, this thing is going to take them off or it's going to break them one way or the other. Moving on from there, we've got the Top Don Phoenix Max. You guys have seen this in a lot of videos this year. Really loving the Top Don. I was a little bit hesitant at first because I'd never really heard them before, and I was a Snap-on dealer and I'd been using Snap-on diagnostic equipment and Snap-on scan tools for years. I mean, basically since the beginning of my career. I think I bought my first Snap-on scan tool in 2011. But this thing has made me a believer. It's fast, it's easy to read, really bright screen. I love the graphing capabilities where you can put multiple graphs on the screen or overlay those graphs. Just a phenomenal unit. Haven't had any glitches, any issues with it, and I believe I've had it since like second week of January of 2023 and just no issues whatsoever out of it. Been a great machine, great overall package. Also, you know, it has the oscilloscope like my Zeus. It has the battery testing functionality as we saw with the Bluetooth battery tester. We go through the modules and TPMS functionality as well, and it actually can work with their thermal camera. But been a great unit, absolutely love it. And they got a really good deal on it, I think, until the end of the year if you want to score one. Moving on, we've got the new Milwaukee M12 Insider. Now, this thing has been a controversial release. We first saw it at the ISN Tool Show in Orlando, Florida in June, and it's just been great. I think it's the best of both worlds for when you do need a pass-through on your smaller sizes, but also where you need that smaller head size with the socket compared to a traditional 3/8 inch anvil or half inch or a quarter inch anviled ratchet. It just gets in there where the others can't. It gets you that small, compact head size. It's got plenty of torque, plenty of RPM, and it's just a good fit. And when you don't want to use the standard socketry items, you have the ability to put your regular sockets that you already own and your extensions, etc. on it, and use it like any other ratchet. Moving on from there, we've got the AES Wave U-Scope. Now, this is not a new product this year. It's been out for many years, but it was a new purchase for me, and I absolutely love this little scope. It's a little one-channel oscilloscope, and it is a great one to have for quick diagnosis, or, you know, if I don't want to drag the Phoenix Max or my Snap-on Zeus out and boot them up and hook up the oscilloscope, just grab this one and go. Got an internal battery that you recharge on a USB. Nice clear screen, very basic. You don't have a ton of stuff to change or set up or adjust. It's just a run and gun type of tool, and it's coming in at a very decent price tag. I think it was around $300. Might have been actually less than that if you get the basic unit. I know they have a master kit with a bunch of accessories and a basic unit that's basically it and the one test lead, but it's a couple $100 and been really impressed with it so far. Another new tool from Milwaukee that we saw at the Pipeline event are the Deep Reach Cross Handle Pliers, where these have a long handle, but when you open them up, they actually get skinnier in the middle if you need to reach into a deep, dark alley and don't have a ton of room. You're not taking up more real estate by opening up these pliers. Like most pliers, when you open the handle, they get wider, but these get narrower in the center. So been really impressed with these. I've had them about 2-3 weeks. You've seen them in a handful of repair videos, but definitely will be using them more, as I have really enjoyed them so far. Moving on to the next item is the KTC kit here, and I forget the part number, but I'll put it on screen. This is the KTC tool set for doing spark plugs in the BRZ, GR86, GT86, and FRS for the FA20 engine, and I believe it will work for the FA24 as well. We did a video changing the spark plugs on our BRZ, and we did half of the engine with this kit and half of it with the Tone PG86S, I think is the Tone equivalent, and I prefer this one over the Tone one, although it was very close. I just prefer this little setup. It's less pieces, comes in the nice little foam carrying case, and really impressed with the quality on it. Next up, we've got Cornwell, the new Z-Series Ratchet from Cornwell. This was a new one for me, as I finally found a Cornwell dealer semi-local to me where I could get my hands on some Cornwell tools. Now, I haven't used it too terribly much. I think I bought it around August, September. I've used it several times. You've seen it in some videos, I think when we did some CVT service videos. No real issues, no locking up, no issues with it binding or skipping teeth. It's a good length for getting some leverage on some stuff or reaching into some places where you need to. Pretty compact head size for the 120 tooth mechanism, and works pretty well. I do wish that, Cornwell was a little bit more open with where their tooling comes from, as this is a Taiwanese manufactured rebrand. Although in some of the marketing, it's been alluded to that it was a completely USA-made ratchet. But otherwise, I've not been disappointed with it quality-wise or functionality-wise. Moving on to the back here, we've got the can-cut step point drill bits in the Drill Buddy case, 29-piece set. I think I got these about a month ago, maybe end of November, beginning of December. I've only drilled 3 or 4 holes with them, but they work phenomenal, and they're a lot more affordable than the Matco equivalent. Love the fact that they are made in the USA, unlike the Matcos that are made in China. We've got the smaller version of the notorious Snap-on nickel or cotter pin plier, depending on which controversy around these pliers you saw. This is the LN46 ACF, and there is a 47 that is much larger. I actually have both, and I prefer the smaller one. I've definitely used the smaller pair more than the larger pair. Just a really great USA-made pair of pliers from Snap-on, but, that's nothing out of the ordinary when it comes to Snap-on, although, I do love my Knipex German pliers as well. We've got another one here from Snap-on, and that is the new double flex ratcheting box-in XL wrenches. We've had the Cabo Taiwanese made for years and years, branded as several different brand names at different price points and different configurations with a 72 tooth, a 90 tooth, and a 120 tooth version. I've got the Cornwell 120 tooth version of these, and Blue Point actually sold a 120 tooth version like the Cornwell one outside of the U.S. market, and I tried to get my hands on those, but I failed. But these are finally out. I've only used them a handful of times, and they are quite expensive, even for Snap-on standards. But they have a slimmer profile head than the Taiwanese-made ones. They are USA made and are just better quality. Are they 5 times the quality? Because that's about what these cost, is about 4 to 5 times what the Taiwanese brand does. And I don't think that's the case. I don't think they're that much better, but they are different. They do have some benefits over the others. And just one of those things that I wanted to have, so I did have it, but just haven't got a ton of usage out of them yet. Moving on from there, we've got the new Koken Z Series, 1/4-inch drive, nut grip, swivel sockets, or universal sockets, although they're not really a universal anymore because they got rid of the universal joint, and they now use their patented hexahedron or hexagonal ball in there, where it's a pinless design. Now, I got these at SEMA. As we saw, they were just unveiled at SEMA, and I've really only used that 10 millimeter there, but so far, worked great. No issues, no complaints. I actually used that in replacing that Toyota Camry oil pan just a couple of days ago. And these are great. They're shorter, smaller, more compact, and stronger, is what I've heard. And that's all of what Koken is about with their Z Series. And, of course, Koken does not disappoint. Back here at the back, as I knock it down, we've got one of my favorite work lights. I've used it extensively over, I don't know, the last 6-7 months, however long I've had it, from Maxion. Now, this is a Maxion, can't remember the part number, hopefully it's on it. It's a Lumastick UV MXN010024, and it's been great. Magnet on the bottom, folds up. We've seen a ton of these folding flat bar work lights this year. Harbor Freight brought out one, the Icon line. Snap-on's had a couple. Most of the tool trucks have them. But flashlight on the tip, as most of them do. You got your dual brightness light bar here. Really great run time on it. I've used it in a lot of videos. But on this one, on the back side, we've got a UV light for checking AC leaks. So another great feature on this one compared to some of the other stick lights that are just regular LED lights that do not have that UV functionality to it. Very affordable light, great runtime, as I said, and no real complaints on it other than maybe I wish it had another magnet or another flat spot on it, because sometimes it's precarious to get this thing popped up somewhere with the only magnet on it and be able to shine with the LEDs on the one side and having the UV only on the other side. It'd be nice if it had white LEDs or regular LEDs on both sides with the UV at the top. That's mainly my only critique of it. Another magnet and a little bit more white light out of it. Moving on, we've got another new tool for the year, and that is the Vessel ratcheting ball grip with the magnetic interchangeable tip on it. I've been using the Vessel screwdrivers for several years now. Absolutely love them. They're an absolute necessity when working on anything Japanese with the JIS screws. Their ball grip ratcheting screwdrivers are extremely comfortable in the hand. They're great for putting downward force or pressure on if you have a stuck fastener to keep from rounding out or camming out of that fastener. And the great little party piece on them that they have is being able to pop the end off. See if I can do it one-handed. And turning into a stubby driver. And super, super affordable. Vessel stuff is not overpriced at all. Honestly, it should cost more than it does for the great Japanese-made quality. Moving on from there, we've got something that I've only had here recently, about 2 months, the Gear Wrench 190 XP locking flex head, specifically the 1/4-inch drive. Really liking this ratchet. Only been used it a handful of times at this point, but it's one of those things that impressed me right off the bat, whereas the new Snap-on 100 tooth Synergy ratchets did not impress me right off the bat. So we know about the 120 XPs. They've been around for a while. This is a new, slimmer, more compact head with a different locking mechanism and the soft grip handle, and priced reasonably well. I think it was about $50. Can't go wrong with some gear wrench stuff. Moving on from there, we've got the new release for the year, and that is the USAG 285X wrenches, or the Mac RBRT grip wrenches. Same wrench, same manufacturer, same parent company. Just the USAGs were about a third of the price compared to the Macs. Now, we've seen the gripping functionality of that open end and its comparisons to Right Grip 2.0 and Flank Drive Plus. We've also seen the 6-point gripping end here, and we also know about basically the same thing coming from the Craftsman brand now as the Overdrive series, but overall, been really impressed with these USAG / Mac / Fucom, all the other Stanley Black & Decker brands that these have been branded under. Been a really great set of wrenches, something new to the market. Not so much new as a brand new idea, because Flank Drive Plus has been around for a while and Right Grip's been around for a while, but just one that seems to do it a little bit better and a little more comfortable, as these Stanley Black & Decker wrenches have that nice thicker beam, rounded edges, really more comfortable to use, feel better in the hand. Moving back to another Koken product, and that is the 72-tooth mechanism in the Z-Series 1/4-inch ratchets. I loved the 36-tooth Z-Series 1/4-inch ratchet, one of my most used ratchets, and it was just made better by adding that 72-tooth mechanism in it. More torque holding ability, lighter back drag, and did not make the ratchet any bigger overall, and just a great thing. Love them. We've got another one that's not necessarily a new tool this year, but new to me, and that is the Mayhew dual drive sockets, specifically these hexes. They came in clutch for me on servicing a CVT on a 2017 Impreza Sport. As we know, the exhaust has been rerouted on the Imprezas and the Crosstreks, and I believe the Foresters. I think Legacy and Outback as well. I think basically all of them, they've changed the exhaust from running on the passenger side to the driver's side, and there is very little real estate to get a fastener or get to the fastener for the fill plug or check plug on the TR580 CVT transmission, and these fit just perfectly up in there. With the dual drive functionality, you drop it into a box-in wrench, and you've got a super compact tool compared to a regular hex socket on a ratchet, or even a stubby socket on a ratchet. Having that dual drive functionality of being 1/4-inch drive, square drive on the inside, but also being able to put a wrench on the back side of it and use it that way. Next up, we've got basically the entire RPT grip edge branding tool line. We've used them for years as the Mac RBRT, but now they have broke off as their own entity as the grip edge RPT. We've used the hexes. We love the hexes. Use the Torx, the extractors, the extraction sockets. Just, it's a win all the way around. Grip edge is great. No trouble with any of the products. They've saved my butt more times than I can count on getting out damaged fasteners, preventing me from damaging fasteners, or getting out damaged fasteners, broken fasteners, etc. with much more ease than traditional ways of extraction or older ways of extraction. They've just been great, and loving all the grip edge stuff. Can't wait to see what they come out with next. Speaking of next, we've got the new KTC, Kyoto Tool Company, Next Ratchet. And this one is just basically for the uniqueness of it, something we haven't seen before. AI, machine learning, creating the design for the handle on it. A smaller head than the regular KTC ratchets. A little bit lighter back drag and a little bit more of improvement. Not so much as I've used it. I've broken some fasteners free with it. I've run some nuts and bolts in with it, but I have not put it to work as an actual ratchet, doing a repair, doing a job. This is one of those things I think will be a novelty, a collector item kind of deal. Same kind of deal as my impression of the Nepro stuff. beautiful to look at, but not something that I really want to use every day in place of Snap-on, Koken, whoever. The Nepro stuff has its place, but you know, it's not something that I would reach for over anything else in the box. I just thought it was cool, wanted to add it to my collection, and there it is. And last but definitely not least, we've got another one from AES Wave. This is the U-Activate 2.0. Now, I waited for several months to get my hands on this tool, and I didn't even know this tool existed outside of seeing it demonstrated by Scanner Danner. If you don't watch Scanner Danner's YouTube channel, check him out. He is an excellent resource in diagnostic testing on vehicles, education. I mean, he is a tech school teacher, but he is great at getting the point across and teaching people upper level diagnostic theory and techniques. I saw him using the U-Activate. I went to AES Wave's website and I saw the announcement for the U-Activate 2.0, and I just couldn't stand it. I had to wait to get the newest and the best. Put my name on the waiting list, and it finally arrived, I don't know, 3-4 months ago. So what the U-Activate is basically the ultimate in relay testing relay controlled circuits. You've got all these different pigtails that plug in the back of the U-Activate, but they also plug into where your relay was, and then you can activate your relay controlled circuit at the touch of a button here. No more jumper wires, any of that mess. You've got a built-in loop here for your amp clamp to check amperage flow through that circuit. Just a great tool. We did a standalone video on it in the past with another couple of AES Wave tools, and we'll just finish out with it just because it was at the end of the line. All right, guys, and that'll do it for my top tool picks of 2023. I know the video was a little long-winded. I tried to get through everything as quickly as possible. There are, as far as I recollect, standalone videos, TikToks, Instagram Reels, etc. on every single tool here. I'll try to list that in the description, as well as links to these tools for those of you interested in picking them up yourself. And any questions you have on these tools, anything you want to know more, ask it down in the comment section below, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Happy New Year's to you. Looking forward to a bigger, brighter, and better 2024.